many times, I was telling Snerdley this morning, as he came in here and gave me his theory, which I promptly shot down. His theory is that we all owe ABC this, because if it weren't ABC and John King asking the questions, Newt would have never been. And to a certain extent, that's true. But why? Why did those questions tee Newt up? And why did Newt know what to do with them? I've been doing this show for 23 years. And one of my themes from the beginning, from 1988, has been that the American conservative middle class are the ones playing by the rules. They are the ones that obey the law to the best of their ability. They raise their kids. They try to hide or shield their kids from cultural rotten depravity. They try to keep them off drugs. They try to get them into college. They follow as best they can all the rules, and they're laughed at, and they're made fun of, and they are impugned everywhere they look. They go to the movies, they're mocked and made fun of. They turn on the radio, listen to music, they're laughed at, mocked, and made fun of. They turn on television and watch an average television show, they're laughed at, mocked, and made fun of. They open the newspaper, same thing. And they've had it. And they've been dealing with this for over 20 years, and nobody's fought back for them. Not one person ever has fought back for them. The last time somebody actually spoke up in this large a forum, a presidential forum, would have to be Reagan, and Reagan did it not by so much what he said, although he had his moments. He did it by winning. He did it by skunking these people. Since then, the Republican leadership has not seemed focused so much on winning, and they sit there and they take it whenever their own voters are insulted. When their own voters are laughed at and impugned and called racist, sexist, bigots, homophobes, the Republicans don't defend them nor themselves because they're scared to death the independents are going to be upset or the media is going to be upset. So the base of the Republican Party, the voters, has been bottling up for 25 years a resentment, an anger, if you will, that their own party won't fight for them, won't fight for itself, won't fight for what's right. So when Newt gets teed up with these questions from Juan Williams and John King and whoever else, and simply says what they've been thinking for 25 years, they say, finally, what they want right now is fight back. What they want is push back. What they want is kick back. What they want is smack down. What they want is for these people who've been laughing at them and mocking them and impugning them put in their place. They're tired of the cultural rot taking place in the country. They're tired of the incessant growth of government and spending. They're tired of it. And they're frustrated as they can be that members of their own party who get elected can't seem to articulate their own passions. And politics is about passion, and the Republican Party doesn't seem to have it. There's always fear of somebody, the media, fear at Democrats. Well, Newt doesn't act like he's got any fear. So how many wives he got? I don't care. What did he do for Fannie Mae and Freddie? I don't care. What are his national disapproval ratings? I don't care. Finally, somebody's telling the bad guys who they are, what to do, and that we're not going to take it anymore. Or that we don't want to take it anymore. Now, you can sit there and you can say that that's cockeyed, that elections aren't won that way. They aren't? Who just won? Who's already leading in the polls in Florida? George Will had a fascinating statistic over the weekend. Mitt Romney, Mr. Electability, according to the Republican base, Mr. the only guy that can give us the Senate, is 9-16 in his election career. He's won 9 and lost 16. He's 9 out of 25. That, they tell us, is Mr. Electability. And they're sitting around, the base is, and they're saying, we don't care about this traditional stuff that you care about that's kept you in second place all these years. It really isn't complicated. Now, let me just tell you something. Again, going against conventional wisdom. Everybody's out there thinking the reason Newt triumphed is because there's media smackdowns. That's not it. I'm here to... Everybody wants to credit Juan Williams and John King and the media for throwing softballs or inadvertently setting Newt up for these answers. It's important. There's no question about it. It was great. But it's not about that. It's not even about Newt's great debate skills. You notice now the establishment saying that isn't going to matter. They're trying to say that everything that's got Newt where he's got is not important. In fact, it's going to hurt us in the general. Let me tell you why Newt Gingrich won South Carolina. Let me tell you why he's coming on. It's because he is able to articulate conservatism. Nothing more. John King, Juan Williams could have asked any other Republican the same questions they asked, and they would have shriveled away in abject fear and defensiveness. If any of the Republican candidates had the same life story as Newt or had said the same things about food stamp president and all that, Juan Williams' question to Romney wouldn't have helped Romney. John King setting up Romney, if Romney had 3 ex-wives and one of them was saying he wanted open marriage, would not have mattered. It would have. It wasn't those questions. It was that they asked somebody who can articulate conservatism. To those of you in the Republican base, this isn't complicated. Newt is winning. He is on a momentum roll here because he can articulate conservatism. That, and he's willing to take it to Obama. I have said for the longest time that whoever does that, whoever articulates conservatism with passion, with love, because that's love of country, with good cheer. Conservatism is inclusive. Somebody who can articulate it happily, proudly, with good cheer cannot be beat.